The Canadian Card Collector here, and welcome back to day 354 of a daily deck review. In the deck that we're taking a look at today is the standard edition of the OverLook playing cards from Art of Play. So, with no further ado, let's take a look and see what we'll get. So here we have the OverLook playing cards in that green matte finish tuck box there on the front here. It's pretty simplistic. You just got that kind of green kind of maze. It's more just like a not embossed maze pattern there on the front of there. So it's embossed, so you can feel the texture of it. On the other side, it's just matte green, same as the other side. On the bottom, which is that matte green, so a pretty standard tuck box. And on the back, you got the pretty much the same as the front, that maze design. But you got the seal there. So for the seal, you got a long kind of, it's more like a key style, kind of like you start with like a octagon there on the top, or a hexagon. No, it's a octagon there. And then it has a big long kind of rectangle like down the halfway down the tuck box there. It's in that red metallic colorway. And it says void if removed. And then on the tuck flap, just that green finish, same as the inner tuck flaps. If we take the cards out of the box, on the inside of the tuck box is just that matte green finish. So overall, pretty simplistic tuck box. But now that we took a look at it, time to take a look at the cards. And first start with that back side. So we have a borderless back design with a one-way back design. And it's a one-way back design because if you look at the corners down here, they don't match the corners up there. And the back design here is that kind of like octagon shape with like smaller octagons outlined in black with the looks like a black, orange, and red kind of back design color with the octagon colors. And it's the same carpet that's in The Shining. I think that's the movie that it's in, is The Shining. So it has the same carpet as that. And so the back design is pretty much the same carpet. Not sure if it's inspired by that or not, but it's pretty similar looking. And it is a one-way back design, so if you flip it over, you can tell the tops are different there. So it would be upside down. But now for the cards you get with the deck. And here we start with the first card. And it's an all red card. So one side has the back design, the other side is red there. A little gap card, kind of. And also a blank face. And then for this, all the cards are upside down. And it says, now there's a fully inked black card there. And it says, no man is an island entire of itself. And it's in that orange text. And then we get to that custom Ace of Spades, where it's just a maze there with a little key hole in the middle there. So a big spade with a maze design. And then the rest of the spades are pretty standard, nothing too crazy going on there. We got the slightly custom number of pips in there in the corners. Then we get to the Jack, Queen, and King of Spades. Standard design, just in that kind of orange, red, and green kind of colorway. And then the diamonds are pretty standard. And then the same thing, the red, orange, and green kind of colorway for the court cards, standard. Also, the clubs are just standard and with that swap color with the green, red, and orange. And the rest of the clubs are just standard as well. And lastly, the hearts, Jack, Queen, King of Hearts, once again, standard, just that swapped colorway. And the hearts are just standard. And the last two cards in the deck, you got this like kind of reverse kind of colorway maze. It's like the green kind of like maze like outline, but then the orange background to it. And then it has just the background on the back. And then the last card, you got this kind of like art card here, kind of with like a mountain and some like trees and like a little river there. And this the background on the back. But now that we took a look at the cards, time to test the handling. And first we start with the springs. But before we get into the springs actually, and one thing I mentioned with fully inked decks, that the quarters could chip and start turning a little white, as you can lightly see there. That they're like over time they'll start like chipping and turning white. But now on to the springs. And these springs are super smooth. They got a little stiffness to them because they're still like pretty new. But they have a good flex to it, so pretty easy to spring straight out of the box. So definitely no issues with the springs. Now on to the fans. And since it's a one-way back design, so you got a slightly different kind of like fan ability if you like, depending on which way you have it. And as you can see, they spread pretty evenly. You can see most of the pips and numbers, no real stickiness. We'll club in the steal the cards. Now on to the Pharaoh. And they Pharaohed flawlessly. Now for the dried fan of that back design. Now time for that reverse Pharaoh. Reverse Pharaoh's not as smooth. Definitely had to push it together to get them to interlock and weave. They interlocked away pretty decently. Now for a giant fan of the faces. And now time for the riffle shuffle or bridge shuffle. And this is the part of the video where that one-way back design will get a little mixed up. If it will work, we'll try that again. They are pretty smooth when you actually get one to work. And you can definitely tell they're mixed up with the edges because the edges also have like the printing on it. So once the back designs are mixed up, you can tell the cards are upside down, right side up. Definitely no issues with the riffle shuffles or bridge shuffles. Nice and smooth. And onto a few packet cuts. Well, I say pretty good packet cuts. They're definitely not like overly slippery, but they could be. Like any cards can just be slippery at any time. Because when I'm doing the worm right now, they're definitely slippery. But like for the other packet cuts, they were pretty nice. Packeted pretty good. Now time for that one-handed cut or a Charlier cut. Almost dropped all the cards there, but I caught them. So now we'll get into that one-handed cut. Now time for the dribble.